What's up, y'all? I got so much content to post in my phone, but I have been unable to get to it. I was going to show you guys me taking a nap, or about my day and how I cleaned my car out today, and how, I was about to do some credit work and stuff on my phone, but I had got tired, so I took a nap. Also in one of those videos, I take you guys along with me to the gas station, because I wanted some ice. So just trying to, I know I look rough, y'all, I don't even care. So I really was craving some ice or whatever, so that I could get my work day started and things like that. And then I was gonna go somewhere and pull over and do some work on my phone, some credit work, because you guys all know I'm working on my credit. You watch my previous videos, y'all, I'm over it right now. Anyway, that big cup of ice that I got from the gas station, it just got wasted on my front seat, on my passenger seat. By my kid. Now, the title of this video, I don't know the exact title just yet, but obviously it's already posted. But it's probably why I don't want any more kids. Why I cannot have any more kids. Just trying to lay down my ages real quick, y'all. So anyway, and my son wasted my ice. He wasted it. After, he's only 3, but he's very smart. Let me just say that, he's very smart. And I know if I'm going to do this video, I want to be honest with you guys, so that you guys can, before anybody judge me and my decision, you guys kind of have the full background of what I go through with a kid, with this particular kid. But yeah, I had already told him, he was trying to mess with my ice earlier through, since I had the cup, and I told him don't do that. I moved my cup, blase. And he's still yeah, and I was asleep. I set my alarm for 30 minutes while he watched his TV, watched cartoons on the phone, because I was gonna start dashing, but I was just so tired, and I just be so tired with this kid. I be so tired, and because I feel like this is not the average mother-child situation. You know what I'm saying? Let me just say this, and I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but this is why I honestly left Mississippi, because of my child's father and what he was doing with my child. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. My child was being abused by the child's father. I'm just gonna call him sperm donor. I hate feeling some type of connection with this man. I hate that. But I call him sperm donor. And he was abusing my child. Yep. And like I said, I'm not gonna go too much into detail with that, or whatever. It was to the point where I had to learn how to fight back without going to jail, without losing my mind, losing my sanity. And I was scared of the sperm donor, you know, because I just couldn't believe he was abusing my son like this. And you guys are smart. I'm pretty sure you guys, you know, if you guys just think about it, you and just listen to what I'm saying, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I put out a short about this on YouTube, and it doesn't get any views. They kind of like mute it. So I'm just gonna be very selective with my words. But yeah, he was trying to groom my child into disrespecting me, you know, and my child was being overstimulated. Okay. And I mean, you know, maybe I should come over on this video and I should be crying. And when you're a mother and you're in this certain situation and you're trying to figure things out as far as like how to survive and you're in survivor mode, you don't have time to cry. You know, like I haven't cried in so long. Like, and I know that's not healthy for me just in general. Like I be trying to like, I think I was able to get some tears to come to my eyes like a few days ago when I watched this this little short video on Facebook about, you know, a mother and her son. She had just lost the child's father, and you know, and the son could tell that his mother was, you know, was mourning, and he, you know, gave her a kiss on the cheek or whatever, because, you know, she was trying to, like, they was singing in the, it was just a random video that I seen, but she, you know, she was singing with her son or whatever, trying to, you know, be happy, and, you know, the son could just tell, you know, that the mom was, you know, struggling, and he just gave her a kiss on the cheek, and, you know, she started to cry. And I had to turn the video because I realized I had tears coming to my eyes. But that was the first time that I could remember in a long time that I had tears to come to my eyes. But because it's like this story, I don't want to make this video too long, you guys, because it's like a whole bunch of mess, and I really feel like I'm in some type of twilight zone, but I'm just doing the best I can to get out of it, or get away from the twilight zone and get back to, you know, or create something normal for myself. But yeah, so, you know, he was training my son to disrespect me and not to have to listen to me, like, and when I say that, like, I can't tell you how hard it was and the struggle that I went through with getting my son to sit in his car seat. You know, he, before I knew what was going on with my son, that, you know, that my son couldn't be around him by himself, before I knew that, like, I didn't drop my son off with his father too many times, but the times that I did, or whatever, even if I was at, because we did cars, we sold cars together, so if I was at the shop, whatever, and he wanted to run off somewhere to the parts store or whatever with my son, and I would stay back, my son would not be required to stay in his car seat, or whatever. And yeah, I just had the hardest time as a single mother, like, you know what I'm saying, getting my son to stay in his car seat. Just that alone, like, was so difficult. I mean, I done got pulled over by the police because my son was up. When I first moved out of my child's father's house into my own space, you know, and obviously doing my own schedule, my own driving, it was hard. Like my son fought me on that. Like, he didn't give a fuck about whoopings, you know, me spanking him or nothing. Like, he's like, I'm gonna stand up in this car, you know, I don't care what you say, right? Another reason, like, let me just say this, my child's father, my sperm donor, also got a lot of help from my sister, my blood sister. Like, we got the same father, the same mother. My sister has always shown some type of jealousy towards me, but I recently found out that when my father passed away, there was 2 different stories on how my dad died. I'm gonna do this as a second video about my father, because I'm going to find out what happened to my father eventually. Once I get myself situated, once I start, you know, have a stable income, when I can focus on other things and I build myself up, I'm going to find out what happened to my father, because I believe she had something to do with the death of my father, period. You know, she tells me that my father died because he was given some pills he shouldn't have been given in the nursing home. But and I got proof of this. I shared it on Facebook one time. But I remember around the same time, her husband put up a GoFundMe account, was like, oh, you know, fund the account because, you know, my father-in-law died of a brain, like a head injury, like he was beaten. And I spoke with my half brother on my, you know, from my dad, and I remember him saying, this is when I really just figured things out, when he was like, yeah, I went to the morgue and I seen you know, our father, and his face was just badly beaten. And so I was just like, what the fuck? And it's so crazy because before I got the phone call from my sister, I was pregnant with my son. Before I got the phone call from my sister, or when I got the phone call from my sister, oh yeah, before I got it, like a few days before that, she had just called me out the blue. Like, I really wasn't fucking with her like that because, you know, I know how she operate as far as, like, you know what I'm saying? I was already pushing away from that, from her in general, because, you know, like I said, she just wasn't supportive of what I was doing or whatever I would say. But, yeah, she was like, yeah, our father is coming home from the nursing home. They finna bring him to my house, but I'm not about to answer the door. I'm about to leave. And I was like, well, you're the power of attorney over our dad. Why are you about to leave? Why can't you just, you know? She's like, I don't care what they do with him. Like, let them drop him off. So that right there was kind of like her setup story about, you know what I'm saying? That's why she called me and said that, because that was just so strange to me. But I was pregnant. I was I was finding out that I was dealing with a ex-pimp, a sex trafficker, like, you know, the sperm donor. Like, I was finding that out, you know what I'm saying? And I was so busy, stressed out with my pregnancy. I didn't take any maternity photos. I didn't want to have a baby shower. I didn't want to do anything because just alone with my sperm donor, I was so depressed. I got so big, y'all. Like, I weighed like 219 when my son was born, and I'm usually 140. I was like 135, 140 before I even had a kid. But anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm just trying to give you guys a backstory as to why, like, this is not like a normal type of mother child issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, my shit go deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to share. I just want to get it off my chest. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But yeah, so you know, that's what happened with my dad. Like, I'm, you know, And when I asked her for any information, she started to say, "Oh, well, you're a bozo. You, what did she say? Because I used to smoke weed. I don't smoke anything anymore. I don't smoke. I don't drink, or whatever." But she kind of like tried to say like that's why she didn't have to give me any information about the nursing home my father was in, because I wanted to call them, because she actually moved him from a nursing home when I was like right when I first got pregnant. She moved him or whatever. And then I told her, I was like, hey, I don't want you to cremate my father. I want him to be buried. And she just caught like this crazy attitude, and I knew it was something about that, but whatever. I'm gonna figure that out, and if you guys continue to follow my channel, you guys will go through that with me as well. But let me keep this video short as possible, y'all. But anyway, so my child was being abused, and in return, I feel like the sperm donor, I feel like he's involved with selling children videos, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to like not get crossed out by YouTube or whatever, but I realized I was in danger. I realized my son was in danger, so that's why I stopped being a flight attendant. I changed my whole life around. I had to rearrange my whole life. I had to protect my kid that I had, and I had my kid really because of him. And when you think about it, I never was in love with him because he's 20 years older than me. I just felt like it was a great opportunity for me. I seen this older guy. I thought that he lived his life out. I thought that he wanted to, he made it seem to me like, hey, I just want a kid. You can still be a flight attendant. I'm mature enough to watch the kid full time while you go fly, and I'm gonna teach you about business, because I was so eager to learn about business, and I didn't think things through. I didn't get to know him like that. But so that's on me, obviously. But yeah, so but when I started to find out who he was, like, it was already too late. I was already pregnant. I got pregnant the second month of us knowing each other. And I realized he was a very disgusting man. Like, I realized he was talking to 14-year-old girls, and just so much, like, it was even a girl living with us at that time that he was just saying that it was his daughter's cousin on her mom's side, but it really was one of his prostitutes. Like, this shit, I felt like I was just, and I was in a twilight zone, you guys. But yeah, so when a child is overstimulated like that, and he got this, his father or his sperm donor over here, trying to like give him all these gifts and stuff like that, and basically, my son felt like he didn't have to obey me, because I mean, if I hit my son in front of the sperm donor, like, I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about like if my son was about to run out in the street, or if my son didn't come when I called him, when I know, his car's coming and I'm trying to discipline my kid, and I pop him on his thigh, the sperm donor literally would call the police. Like, he tried to find anything that I did. He would call the police on me. He wanted me in jail because obviously I was the only one protecting my son from being abused by that demon. I was the only one standing in the way of him being able to abuse my son more. So of course he didn't care if I died. He didn't care. He actually took one of my tires. Like, he loosened up one of my tires one time after he had just supposedly looked at my tire. I get on the interstate, and I heard some noise. And I called him. I was like, "Hey, I feel like my tire making some noise. You sure you tighten it up all the way?" "Yeah, I did." Blah, blah, blah. My tire comes off, but thank God I was just in a certain position on the interstate where I was able to safely get off or whatever. Seeing my tire roll in front of me, and when I called him or whatever. I think the police called. I really can't remember, but he made a statement to me. He was like, I was really hoping they said that you had died. But that's just an evil guy, man. Y'all don't understand. Like, I had a kid by the most evilest person in the world, man, to me. But all right, so that's really what it is. My son has this thing where he just, he has seen his father try to take me down so many times. So, we deal with that. We deal. But, look, I see this thing. Be kind to yourself on Poshmark. Be kind to yourself. I am. I'm really trying. I am. But, anyway, y'all. Whew, Jesus. So, I had to. So, just imagine, like, you got my sister who's, because even my child's father, the sperm donor, he even said one time, like, he told me, was like, yeah, me and your sister, we planning on calling the police to your house, so you better make sure your house is clean because they come into your house soon, or whatever. Like, they was, like, you know what I'm saying? So, because my sister, she's looking at it like, oh, well, I don't want this, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, let's discredit this bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's make motherfuckers think that she's crazy, so when she do, because the first thing she said to me when I said that, she probably murdered our father, she said, ain't nobody gonna believe you. That's what she told me. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's so crazy. So I know for a fact, like, when I became a flight attendant, she hated that shit. And, like, I remember, real quick, y'all, I'm just gonna say this part. I remember, like, that's why I wouldn't even go up there. It got to a point, if I had a trip in New York, I wouldn't even tell her I was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember telling the guy that I was dating at the time, I told him, I was like, look, she told me that it was okay if I come up here and stay with her and her husband and, her kids or whatever like that, when I needed to for work. So I would sometimes go in the day before and not get a hotel room. But I noticed the husband would purposely, because the husband, like, the husband would purposely drive slow, taking me to the airport. So, the boyfriend at the time, he told me, he was like, well, just tell them, just lie about the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Say, okay, if I had to be at work, if I had to sign in at like 9 a.m., just tell them that you had to sign in at 8 a.m. I said, I had already did that. And like, he would purposely still, like, either drive slow or something. So, like, I didn't say anything. Like, I didn't argue with them about that. I just kept quiet and, whatever, because I knew I was still getting to the airport on time, because I had lied about the time that I was supposed to have been there. But I realized that they always would have me late with the time that I told them, right? Because they wanted me to get fired from being a flight attendant, but I see now, right? But anyway, even though I'm not a flight attendant, I still got my flight benefits, because that was the first time that I was able to see my father or whatever. Another thing, my grandmother, which is my father's mom, she was really rich. She had lots of money, okay? And when she passed away, rest her soul, I didn't get a dime or whatever. I asked about it, she lied, act like she didn't get nothing. But my grandmother on my mom's side had eventually told me, like, yeah, your sister got a big check or whatever. I don't care about the money no more, even though, I started to realize, I'm like, okay, I'm struggling in life, and she's over there getting whatever she want, like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But that's why, because she got money, which she's supposed to from my grandmother. But I was supposed to have gotten it too, but I didn't, or whatever. But it's cool, y'all. That part is cool. I'm really concerned about my father, whatever, and I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna find out about that when the time comes. I just want to be financially stable. When I hire a private investigator to investigate that and take it to court, all that good stuff, and get to the bottom of what happened to my father. But because my father was the only one that loved me, honestly. Like, my father, oh my God, like, I just knew I was gonna grow up and go to New York and live with my dad, and things was gonna be good or whatever like that. Like, they took him from me. But anyway, y'all, so I knew when she was trying to call me bozo, and he was trying to say stuff like I even stopped eating his mama cooking. Like, his mama, like, I knew she didn't like me, but I also noticed, like, she'll call me out the blue and be like, hey, I got some collard greens for you. You want some collard greens? And I'm just like, some collard greens? You got no chicken to go with it? Like, but I just stopped eating her food. Like, if I know, because he had mentioned to me before, like, because he used to sell drugs. He went to jail for like 14 years, y'all. And I remember him telling me a story how he would sneak crack into this white guy's food, or whatever, and and trick him, basically drug him or whatever. And the guy kept coming back and all that stuff. And he made a comment to me one time too. He was like, the police, they're gonna find cocaine in your system. And I'm like, what? So I knew then, what was going on with my sister and what was going on with my father, I just knew then I had to stop smoking weed, right? I shouldn't have been smoking it anyway, so I stopped. I didn't want to drink, and so now I'm just completely sober, and that's the best thing I could have done for myself. Okay, my battery about to go dead. But anyway, you guys. But that's why I cannot have any more kids. I will not have any more kids. I'm trying to love this one the best way I can. I'm trying to put time. I feel like the more time that, gets in between what happened and with him being abused and me getting him out of that situation, like, things would get better. And they have a little bit, but like, he don't always listen to me, or whatever. But I did have to discipline him in some type of way when he wastes my ice, because I'm just like, first of all, I wouldn't have had kids, right, from the get-go. I would never have had kids. I should have never had a child by a man that I didn't know. I should have never had a child by a man that I didn't love, only because he was older, only because, like, he could have taught me business credit, which he did not teach me because he did not know business credit himself. I found out that, he didn't have a bank card or nothing about, he didn't know nothing about getting business credit, right? I kind of had to learn that on my own, and I'm still learning that on my own. But yeah, I feel like this is God's test, or this is obviously supposed to be my journey in life, and I'm supposed to get through it, because any weaknesses that I have, like, whether it be like procrastination, whether it be, I don't feel like doing this, like, whatever I had, like, I'm facing a lot right now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the hardest I ever worked in my life. Okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm living in my car, like, but it's teaching me a lot, because I know, like, I'm used to quietness. I'm used to being by myself. I mean, I was a flight attendant for 6 years. I love the quietness of, when you finish your trips and you go into your hotel and you get your room key and you got that time to yourself. Like, I miss that. That's that's like the only thing that I miss. I miss that part. Whatever. But and I'm really not like I'm not a mean person. I'm not a person that likes to be aggressive. So, you know, maybe that's also why my son sometimes feel like he can run over me or whatever. Besides the fact that he was abused, or whatever, you know, he's like, oh well, she's gonna give me 100 chances, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But that's that, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. But I would never have another kid in this life, and I'm okay with that because, you know, I would have never had him, or whatever. But you know, because I thought that I wasn't gonna have to keep him full time, but here I am with my son full time. I'm scared to put him in daycare. I mean, we have done daycare since that has happened, but I didn't feel comfortable with that daycare either. So, because I mean, technically, if I put him in daycare, you know, I enjoyed that time by myself, but I don't know. I feel like when my son gets older, I want him to get older where he can talk. I'm traumatized by what has happened in our, you know, in our past. And like that would traumatize any woman. You know what I'm saying? And especially if you're afraid of that man. And like, for instance, this phone right here. Oh goodness, it's wet. Is it wet on this freaking seat? This is the sperm donor's phone, but this is a phone that I use to let him watch TV on or whatever like that. But I always told myself, like, cause like, okay, so yeah, when I put him on child support, he was like, oh, and he's mentally unstable because he still feels like, oh yeah, we're gonna share custody of the kid. I'm like, you cannot get custody of my kid. You can get supervised custody while I'm there. You would never be around my kid by himself. I took my kid to the hospital before because of him being abused. His bottom was in pain, and when I went there, like, the doctor, like, we had a talk. Like, he was like, well, listen, if you want to file charges and say that your child was touched, then I would have to call the police. I was scared, you know what I'm saying? So I just said, well, look, I just want to document this visit or whatever. That's really what I wanted to do. But I've been through a lot, y'all. I've been through a lot, and that's that. And so that's why it's so important for me to just, you know, it was so important for me to get away from that. And because I had like family members besides my sister really trying to, like, you know, that was on his team, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to see me down because they don't want me to expose the truth within my family about what happened to my dad. So, you know, they all kind of like working together to like keep me down. But when I move here, they don't really, you know where I'm at, you know, now. So that's a good thing. That's a great thing. They don't know where I'm at, or whatever. They try to, like, for instance, the sperm donor tried to say, like, oh well, she don't need to have the child until she finds her a stable place to stay. She don't need to be having a child in a hotel and all this shit. I'm like, dude, first of all, like, you know, it's a lot of kids that get picked up with a school bus at hotels, okay? And it's a lot of kids that live in the car with their parents. So that's why it's so important for me to make money, because I don't, at any given, you know what I'm saying, when the police do come, or if they ever come, or if we ever go to court, first of all, we go to court, I'm going to say, hey, I need to press charges against this nasty bastard, okay? Because I ain't scared no more, right? So that's why I came out here to build myself up, to, you know what I'm saying, as far as income, where he cannot touch, because he want me to be poor. That's you know what I'm saying, that's what he really wants, because it's easier for him to try to get custody of my kid, okay? And I don't go around him at all, even though sometimes he does call me sometimes, whatever. I don't even bring it up to him anymore, because I told him that I wasn't, because I'm like, you like R. Kelly, right? Like R. Kelly, people that does that to kids, they really think that, like, they wake up the next day and be like, oh, where's my kid? I'm gonna come pick my kid up. Like, no, you cannot pick your kid up. You're nasty. Like, what the so he's really confused, or whatever. But yeah, He even called the police on me when I wasn't around him. I was just simply texting him, you know, saying, hey, I'm not going to come back up there to the shop anymore, you know, whatever. He sends me a picture of him filing a police report. I'm like, dude, now you filing false charges against me? I had to go. I had to leave Mississippi. So that's that, you guys. That's why I do not want any more kids. I mean, I love my kid, and I just feel like when he gets older, the older he gets, the more easier it's going to be on me, because I can somewhat explain things, and you know, he'll understand things just more in general, even outside of that, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And but yeah, this stage right here, this toddler stage, the baby stage, the toddler stage, like, it was hard for me, you know, especially before I knew what was going on, especially when I was still being a flight attendant, leaving my son with a monster for like 8 days at a time. Like, you know, I regret that, you know, but I didn't know. But that's it, you guys. I'm gonna try to post my other content on here. It's just one of those days where, you know, whoo, chat. But I took my little nap. I'm about to go start dashing, because gotta make some money. You know, today is Sunday. We got a big day ahead of us, a big week ahead of us, or whatever. Gonna do some more thrifting and all that good stuff. All right, you guys.